Imagine this. You're the key decision maker, and you face this classic dilemma. You've got exactly $10,000 for your business. Do you drop it all on a high-end new computer setup, or do you use it to hire a part-time assistant? You see, before any business can hit those massive goals or dominate the global marketplace, it has to secure and organize its limited resources. Every single business operates with constraints, and honestly, how you manage those limits is exactly what's going to define your success. Here is our agenda to solve that exact resource problem. We'll start with the strategy of choice, and then we're going to break down the four fundamental inputs: land, labor, capital, and finally, enterprise. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the strategy of choice, and how we navigate those limited resources. Every single time you allocate a resource, whether that's your time, your money, or your materials, you are going to crash right into this core concept: opportunity cost. It is the cost of the next best alternative foregone when making a choice. This is an absolutely critical syllabus term you need to lock in. Basically, it means every choice casts a shadow, right? The option you didn't pick, that is your opportunity cost. Let's look back at our earlier dilemma, mapped out here as choice A versus choice B. If you decide to spend your limited funds on choice A, that shiny new machinery, well, your opportunity cost is choice B. It's the staff training program that you simply can't fund anymore. You gained the machine, sure, but you lost out on upgrading the skills of your workforce. So the real trick here is that to minimize those opportunity costs and maximize your chances of winning, you've got to master the optimal combination of 4 essential inputs. Universally, these are known as the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Let's unpack each of these, starting with the first one. Section 2 is land, our natural foundation. This is the physical and environmental starting point for literally any commercial venture on the planet. Now, in business terminology, land isn't just the dirt you build your warehouse on. It encompasses all natural resources provided by nature. Yes, it's the physical space for your factories or your retail outlets, but it's also the renewable and non-renewable resources. We're talking the minerals, the timber, the water, and the oil required to actually initiate your operations. And what's really fascinating here is how the management of land has totally evolved. Today, modern strategic managers absolutely must prioritize sustainability. You can't just extract resources without consequence anymore. Managing land now means actively preventing resource depletion, the exhaustion of raw materials. It's all about adopting sustainable production methods. Think utilizing renewable energy sources and implementing strict recycling protocols. You do this to protect the environment, for sure, but also to protect your long-term operational costs and your brand's reputation. Moving right along to section 3, labor, or human capital. This right here is a massive driver of competitive advantage. Labor is defined as the physical and mental effort contributed by humans to the production process. Notice that key distinction: physical and mental. A highly motivated workforce gives you the manual hustle needed on an assembly line, but it also gives you the complex problem-solving expertise you desperately need to operate efficiently in the service sector. Ultimately, the quality of your labor, developed through training and experience, is often way more significant than just the sheer quantity of workers you have on payroll. So how do we actually figure out how efficient your team is? Well, we use this simple syllabus-aligned formula. Labor productivity equals your output per period divided by your number of employees. This is your go-to metric for measuring the true effectiveness of your human capital. Just to put that into perspective, imagine you hit a stellar productivity ratio, something like 150 units produced per employee in a given week. By improving your team's skills and motivation, you can actually drive this number even higher. And the best part, when productivity goes up, your average costs of production go down. That makes your business incredibly agile and super competitive in the market. All right, let's shift gears to section 4, capital, the man-made enablers. When you hear the word capital in a business context, you probably just think of money in the bank. Well, actually, it's a bit broader than that. Capital refers to the man-made resources used in the production of other goods and services. This involves the strategic investment in non-current assets, so your machinery, your factory buildings, your delivery fleet, as well as the actual finance needed to buy them. These are literally the tools of the trade that let a business scale way beyond human manual limitations. And we're seeing a massive modern shift in how capital is deployed. Back in the day, scaling up just meant buying more basic, clunky machinery. But today, to gain a competitive edge, capital investment is shifting heavily toward digital technology and automation.
We are talking about streamlining the entire production line through computer-aided manufacture, or CAM, and 3D printing. Upgrading your capital with these digital technologies is exactly how you drastically improve productivity and stay ahead of the curve. Which brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, Section 5, Enterprise and Adding Value, Combining the Inputs. None of the inputs we just talked about do anything on their own. They need a catalyst, and that is the fourth factor, enterprise. You can kind of think of this like a recipe happening in 3 distinct steps. Step 1, you gather your raw bought-in materials. Step 2, you run them through the production process. This is where the entrepreneur works their magic, actively combining the land, the labor, and the capital. And finally, step 3, you output a finished product with a final selling price that is worth far, far more than the sum of its individual parts. That magical difference? We call that added value. It's simply the difference between the selling price of a product and the cost of the bought-in materials and components. Maximizing this added value while simultaneously keeping your opportunity costs as low as possible is the true test of a strategic manager. It is literally the core of how organizations create wealth and navigate those intense competitive pressures. So as you step into your role as a modern business leader and you start combining these factors of production out in the real world, I want to leave you with this final critical thought. Will your choices today maximize your added value, or will the opportunity cost of your decisions be too high for your business to survive?